Hail, warriors of the known world. I am Helgi, Hersil Raffenfedil, Knight of the Society for Creative Anachronism, out of the Kingdom of Kaid in Southern California. Today I'm going to be going over in depth some of our basic fundamental Pell work drills associated with footwork and movement. So one of the fundamental ideas that we have when we fight is that when we throw a shot, we want to be doing our best to step offline, right? To gain position on our opponents, whether that is taking an outside line or an inside line. In this case, we are not going to be looking at the act of moving forward or moving backward, as our Pell obviously cannot move. However, we are going to be working on moving around, okay? And so this isn't just lateral movement, this is more radial movement. And this is appropriate to how we actually, fight. When we step offline, we are not gaining position. We don't move laterally unless our opponent moves with us, right? If our opponent stays in the same place, we're moving around them. And this drill has been developed to help you learn to move around your opponent while throwing shots. We want to get to the point where every single time we throw a blow, we can take a small step without having to think about it. We want to get that to the point where it is an autopilot, right? Where it's so ingrained in us that it just happens. And this drill will help do that, okay? So the first variation on this, and I'm gonna go through a couple of different variations. First variation is intended to help you develop power with your legs. And so I'm going to go through a lot of fundamental mechanics of using a volta, using pivots, and how we build power from there. These movements at this point are necessarily large. And as we gain experience and improve in our skill, our goal will be to refine them down. But for the sake of this point, the motions will be larger than they would be in an actual fight. So, without actually throwing a shot, this is how the drill works. I'm going to start with my shield leg forward. I'm going to be in a bladed stance. This is going to be fairly narrow. I have a line that goes from the back of my heel through the front of my front toe to my target, okay? And this is super important because every step we take, we want to maintain this line so that when we move, we are always coming back to a same relative position to where we started, admittedly offline from that step. So the first thing I'm going to do is orient myself toward my target, and from here, I'm going to start with a shuffle step, okay? And the shuffle step looks like this, okay? Now, when I'm doing this, I am loading my hip, right? I'm not just doing this, right? This prevents me from actually integrating my hip. What I want to do is I want to step and load. Notice that my hip is coming back here. And then my front foot, as it's coming in, is going to actually come toward, is not just gonna pull across like this, but it's gonna come in and forward. And on my back leg, as it's doing that, it's gonna volta, right? My foot isn't gonna come off of the ground. I'm gonna keep the toes on the balls of the foot, but I want my heel to come out so that my feet are now parallel to each other, okay? So every time we take a step, we want to make sure that my foot position is the same. When I go to reset, I still have a line going from my heel to my toe at my target, right? If I had taken a step like this, right, my back foot took a larger step than my front foot, I now have a line that is going off this way, past to the left. Or if I took here, my front foot has actually crossed my back foot. So there are three fundamental steps that we take when moving around an opponent, okay? There are other steps as well that can be more complex, but these are fundamentally sound in that They prevent us from crossing our feet. They don't turn us away from our opponent's weapon, and they help us maintain our balance. So those 3 steps are shuffle step, pass through, shuffle step. Going back in the other direction, shuffle step, pass through, shuffle step. Okay, now to integrate this while throwing blows, okay, I'm going to start in my bladed stance. I have that line going from my heel to my toe to my target, right? And I'm going to take a step. And while I'm taking this first step, my hip is loaded. Notice that I am also not stepping with my lead leg, I'm stepping with my rear leg, okay? If I don't load this step, I'm just coming here, right? And I'm not gonna be able to really get a lot of power there. Again, we are hyper accentuating motions here, okay? So, I go step. My front leg isn't just going to complete the circle, right? Part of the goal is to ensure that we are in balance through this entire transition. So I take my step, my foot comes in and forward, and then I get a volta with my rear leg. Okay? That is driving my shot forward. Again, looks like this. Step, pivot, strike. Now we come to the pass-through. When I take the pass-through step, pass-through allows us to change which leg we have forward in our stance. So I'm going to take a step here, and this is going to keep my even with my lead foot as it currently is, right? But my foot is now oriented still at a 45-degree angle, right? I'm oriented so my hip is still loaded, okay? I shift my weight onto my front foot, and I'm going to get a lead leg volta here, right? And this is going to pull my back leg along, right? And while at the same time, I'm going to reach out and strike. Looking at that again. Step, shift my weight, pivot, strike. The last step is an additional shuffle step, but this time to the outside. So I'm going to pivot. Again, I'm not just moving laterally here. I'm going to pivot. This is going to set my hip, and again, shift my weight onto my lead leg so I can get that lead leg volta, and my back leg pivots around. Okay? Now, going back in the other direction, this is exactly the same thing. It goes shuffle step, my hip is loaded, pivot, strike. Pass through, pivot, strike. Shuffle step, pivot, strike. Okay? So, for the time being, we're going to keep this simple. As I'm moving to my right, I'm going to throw to the right side of my Pell. As I throw to my left, I'm going to throw to the left side of my Pell. You can break this, or this is a rule that we will break eventually. But for now, we're going to keep it simple and work on these fundamental concepts. Okay? So, a full look at this drill. When we throw shots here at our drill practice, we throw flat snaps, offsides, wraps, and Molyneuxs at both the head and the leg. Okay? I'm only going to go through flat snaps and offsides to the head, and leg wraps and Molyneux, and wraps and Molyneuxs to the leg. Okay? But this is how the drill looks in its entirety. Step, throw, step, throw, up, throw. Okay? Moving back in the other direction. Okay? One more time. It goes shuffle step, pass through, shuffle step. Shuffle step, pass through, shuffle step. Shuffle step, pass through, shuffle step. Shuffle step, pass through, This time, my back foot came a little too far along, so I'm pointed off from the line I should be taking. Okay? So. Okay. Okay.
Oh, I think that was right.
That was pretty right. Okay. Now while you're doing this, you are not getting that volta at all. Okay. Try and hyper accentuate the volta for the moment. Okay. Okay, so on the first step you took, go back. You want that volta to come not when the foot lands, but as it's coming back and you're pushing, so you're using your hip to push it forward. Yes.
As I land.
Right.
That kind of.
How does that feel?
Yep.
Yep.
But
I generally think of it as like. I think of it as it's not just coming straight across; it's coming in, and then your foot is pushing it forward. Yes. Better.
But I don't have to come all the way back.
No. Again, this is hyper accentuating the motion. Good. Okay. Now going back in the other direction. Okay. Good. Okay, now you're going to throw flat snaps moving this way. Recover. Okay. Good. Okay, you're not getting that, the voltas as much. Try it again. Okay, coming back with leg wraps. Okay. Good. Molyneux. Good. Okay. You're not getting much pop with that lead leg, and you're a little bit far away. That's a dropping offside rather than Molyneux. Yep. Good.